a question for you, which is, do you think there exists a trade package that the Bears could put together? They have the 20th overall pick. They have no quarterbacks of value. Is there a trade package that the Bears could put together that the Seahawks would actually accept?
That the Seahawks would accept? Yes.
What is it?
Let me look.
Okay, let me give you one.
Okay.
Okay, because I have one.
Because I think the Seahawks bar is lower than our bar.
That was kind of what I was getting at, which is funny. Okay, so Khalil Mack, Jalen Johnson, number 20, first rounder next year, second rounder either this year or next year.
So here's where I bristle a little bit at the idea of players. But it doesn't matter if they get – so it's weird because the Seahawks are barely under the cap and the Bears are a little over the cap. So I can understand why the Bears would want to unload players. But Seattle can't necessarily take a ton in because of their cap situation and the fact that a lot of what Wilson is going to cost is going to be in the dead money space. So they're not going to save that much by getting rid of him, at least in year one. But I agree. But at the same time, like some of these things that they can chip away at won't piss Russ off because he's gone. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean the Bears have good football players. Mac's a good football player, obviously. Eddie Jackson's a good football player.
So that was why I included Mac, because Mac makes a ton of money. Yeah. I'm not sure how would the Bears have to tag and trade like Allen Robinson to make the money work?
Yeah, the tag and trade isn't because they don't even have enough money under the cap. Like they would have to make significant moves just to apply the tag to Robinson. Like True. They have to be under the cap.
True. I mean, that was kind of why I included players, because Russ makes a ton of money as well.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing is,
the players have to fit under Seattle's cap, which would make it a little
true.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's more going to have to be draft picks.
Okay, so
and Pace doesn't care. By the way,
but here's the problem: the Bears have number 20 this year.
Yeah.
They get Russell Wilson. What's their pick next year?
Right. I mean, you'd think, given that division, it's like in the 30s.
Well, at least past 20, right? So are you really willing – let's say the Bears offer you their next 3 first-round picks. Are you that excited about 20, 25, and 27?
No, you'd have to package it with significant other picks. But then, I mean –
that's why I
have no clue what Seattle's thinking here, because it doesn't make sense for me, because you're basically – the thing you can say is if we lose Russ – we're not going to be a good football team in year one. And they've done that before. 2011 was Carroll. 2010 was Carroll's first year. 2011 was Carroll's second year. They went to the playoffs, won a game, the Beastquake game in 2010. They took a huge step back in 2011, not record-wise, but just like stature-wise, by signing Tavares Jackson and starting him the whole season. So they've done the whole like take a step back and make a step forward situation. If you're Seattle and you're trading Russ, you're saying, well, I'm getting 3 picks in the back end of the first round to pair with my 2 or 3 picks in the front end of the first round. That's going to result from the fact that we don't have one of the best 5 quarterbacks in football anymore.
But you need a quarterback.
Do you in year one?
No, but what are you getting in year 2?
Well, but in year 2,
are you tanking?
I think so.
Oh, that's not happening. I'm sorry. Pete Carroll is not tanking.
If you look at that division. And
I get what we would do.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now that Pete Carroll.
But then we're running circles into the truth that Wilson's not going anywhere. Like
that's what I think we're getting at. Where do you think okay, this is an interesting question. We're redrafting the NFL right now. Russell Wilson is where on your board?
If you include money,
let's screw money. Just.
If Price wasn't an issue, I think he's 3rd.
Okay. The point is he's top 5.
Yeah.
I think I would probably push him maybe closer to 5.
Yeah. With the money, I would consider guys like Herbert and Burrow and guys like that ahead of him just because they're cheaper and have high upside.
I'm kind of trying to get at like just out of quarterbacks in the NFL, like where does he rank? What do you think the Seahawks believe Russell Wilson ranks?
Given that they almost traded him to the Browns for the first-round pick just 3 years ago now, I think they probably view him more like 7th.
Pete Carroll sits there and goes, "Wow, I've got the 10th best quarterback in the league." Yeah.
All because they lost a barn burner in Arizona. Like honestly, that Arizona game not only screwed us out of a bunch of bets, by the way, but also like really fucked up the season for Seahawks. Like. Can you imagine how much better they would have been if they had 16 games of practice with that offense? Instead, they had 8 games, and they were like, scrap this. We're going to go with Carlos Hyde for 8 more games.
That paid off.
Did.